Welcome back. So you've heard of microbreweries, but what about microdistilleries?
Yeah, it's the same idea, but instead of beer, they create spirits.
That's right. It's a rising trend that requires a lot of attention and physical labor. So in today's Joe Do My Job, I'm in Danville at Cooper Ridge Distillery.
We don't even have half the corn in there yet.
Cooper Ridge Distillery does everything by hand, the old-fashioned way.
I'm from Mississippi, born and raised in Mississippi, and that's where when I was around it then, but I've been here since 1982. And when I moved here in 1982, no one I knew was making whiskey and all the corn around us, and I didn't want to leave my roots behind, and I wanted to keep with my heritage.
Cliff Cawley joined forces with his son and daughter to make it all happen.
It's something that we can share, a bond that we have that most people can't say that they have. And it's just neat to share this experience with each other.
Cliff, there's a new guy in town. I'm ready to work for you. And this is where everything happens, right?
Yes, sir.
This is a pretty small room.
Uh-huh.
But you only make how many gallons a day?
Right now we're making about 15 gallons a day. We'll start with grabbing this pitcher at a time.
Okay.
And if you grab that big paddle right there,
This thing, okay.
Yes, sir. Get it in there, and we just get to stirring like that.
100 pounds of grain goes into one batch, making stirring a challenge. Yeah, it's already not pleasant because it's hot. It's very
Right,
hot.
right. This takes an hour. It's an hour. You think it's hot in here right now, and it certainly is. But this is an hour of non-stop stirring because we don't have any new technology going on here. You're in here and you're stirring. This is how whiskey used to be made right here, guys. Artisan distilling right here. So, whew.
What's your policy on wearing a shirt while you do this?
Yeah, you probably should.
Probably should. I agree with that. Okay, I think I've had enough for this now. Let's
All right.
Move on to fermentation.
Okay. You have to have sugar to make alcohol. Well, we pulled the sugar out of the mash by cooking, and then we put it into here. We add our yeast. The yeast turns the sugar into alcohol, and that's how that process is made. Now this will set in here for 3 days.
Okay.
For 3 days till the fermentation is complete, and then we'll put it in the separate the grain from there and run it through the still. Water boils at 212 degrees, but alcohol boils at 172. At 172 degrees, your alcohol vapors are going to come up the cap. They're going to travel down the line arm. This is called a line arm. It's going to condense into a real hot liquid. Okay? It's going to travel down here where this pipe comes all the way down to here. It's going to fill up again, and you can recognize it by the sight glass. It fills up again and once again becomes 172 degrees, becomes a vapor a second time. And that conforms to federal law that says whiskey has to be distilled twice. This is our second distillation right here, using the energy from here because there's no fire underneath here. So when your alcohol vapors on the second time come up and they travel through your condensing coil, some call it a worm, and then out comes your alcohol right here.
I'm thinking maybe we're at the point where we should taste the fruits of our labor. What do you think?
I think we should, and we worked up quite a sweat in here.
I know. Let's get a drink. This is what it will look like if we do a good job back there. And
Yes.
speaking of doing a good job, how do you think I did, Amanda? Can
I
join the team?
don't know. You couldn't really handle the heat.
Uh-huh. Well, it's very hot.
Yes,
How
it
hot
is.
was it? Like 80, 90?
Yeah, it can get up to over 100.
Yeah, and then you're working up. Do
Yep.
you stir?
No.
No. Interesting. Well, you still work here, so maybe I could do something
There we go.
at a desk.
You can bartend.
Okay, well that might be risky. So we thank you so much for
You're
having
welcome.
us here, and I guess it's time to cheers.
Cheers.
That's
How
a lot
fun.
of stirring.
A lot of stirring, and I did not do an hour of stirring, but they...
Well,
Those
did I help you, Annie?
guns, those guns.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely something you want to check out. I'll share their website and their Facebook on our website, ciLiving.tv, so you can know where to buy this stuff.
And you didn't even bring Matt back some.
I didn't bring any. I mean, it's dangerous stuff, Matt. You got to watch out.
Well, I believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
because moonshine is
100 proof.
yeah,
Whoa.
strong.
100 proof.
Strong.
So
I didn't even realize it was legal to make it.
yeah, well, I think it's called moonshine, but they had to go through years of legal stuff, and so it's all
Right,
certified. It's all legal. but it is still technically made the same way that they did make moonshine.
Right.